I thought it would be fun for people to see us outside of sports and just kind of wish a Merry Christmas. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some exciting things, the NBA and expansion teams and maybe a revival of the Sonics and the NHL with the schedule coming out and Kraken. And I mean, there's a lot, and for me, Christmas, the holidays is sports. I mean, you have presents, you have sports, you have, right. So it kind of is, but funny, we are much more than just sports talk. We're deep people.
Well, it's funny because you said this was our broadcast without sports, and it's like, wait a minute, we're never outside of sports because sports is part of life, right?
And that's so, right.
It's kind of
excellent point. I mean, excellent point.
It's all a game anyway. It's all a game, and we play on the winning team.
we weren't able to get away from that fact this year at all. So
1 week of marbles, maybe.
Do you guys have a favorite Christmas memory?
Favorite Christmas memory, and this works into sports.
You get to our age, they start adding up.
I will tell you how this works into sports. One of my favorite Christmas presents of all time. I got the Evel Knievel stunt set.
Who remembers that?
His trailer, his bike, and Evel Knievel himself.
Somebody loved Little Richie.
That was awesome. I mean,
yeah.
And Evel Knievel, if everybody out there remembers, was a staple of Wide World of Sports.
Oh yeah. Yep.
One of the most famous TV shows. And actually, I would say the forerunner of ESPN Sports Center was Wide World of Sports.
Oh yeah.
You consider all the things that they covered and all the places that they went to. We saw sports from a worldwide perspective for the very first time, thanks to Jim McKay and ABC Sports.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they could have used Evel Knievel as the agony of defeat clip instead of that poor skier.
Oh well, everybody remembers that skier.
This also works into our show today because Evel Knievel, after all of his travails and trials and ups and downs and successes, ultimately became a Christian.
Wow.
What a story. And Rich still plays with his Evel Knievel little set. So that's kind of cool.
Actually, I can't find it, but it's a nice story.
Anyone else?
Go ahead, Brent.
Well, it's hard to pick one, but there's something great about being around kids at Christmas. And there were a couple times where our son was in the 9-10-year-old range. They were really cool because we spend that with my sister's family. She has 8 kids that are all younger than he is. And there were a couple of them, but she didn't have all 8 yet, but there were just a couple of them that were just like wall-to-wall chaos for a week with kids and toys and wrapping paper and this, that, the other thing. And, my son's staying up all night with his uncle playing board games and stuff. And we come out at 7 a.m. and there they still are at the table, so it's just stuff like that.
I would have to say, and this is a little bit of a cop-out answer, but every Christmas that I've had when my kids were little, and they just had that awe and that wonder.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
And we did Santa, and so they were just over the moon when they woke up, and they would just see gifts under the tree and the eating cookies and all that, and just the joy and all the work and all the hype, and then like 15 minutes later after all the then it's like, okay, mom and dad go back to bed.
Right.
I still have that awe. I still get excited. I'm such a dork, but a lot of people, we're a faith show. And so people will say, well, Santa Claus distracts. I want to tell you, I'm I'm a believer in Jesus because of Santa Claus. I was such a believer in Santa Claus. I may have shared this with you, Garrick. I don't know, but I came to Christ because of Santa Claus. Go figure, because I was such a believer. I was looking even at a 4 or 5 years old for something we all really crave and why the holidays are so magical. I was looking for that one thing, that person who knew when I was sleeping or awake, if I was bad or good, and would come and visit me. I made something for Santa. I colored something, and I'm not a color inside the lines kind of person, as you can probably imagine. But man, I put all my effort.
I'm shocked.
I know, right? Right. I put all my effort into it. I left it there with milk, cookies. I was so excited. I wrote on there, "I love you, Santa, and I always will." And when I woke up the next morning, the cookies were gone, the milk was gone, and the picture I drew for him was just laying there on the ground. I mean, how could he just leave it there and not take it with him? That was my gift to him. And I was devastated. But that Christmas, a Sunday school bus had come just around that time, right? And they brought me to this church on a Sunday morning because my parents were like, "Get on the bus." Sure. My parents were not churchgoers at that time. They said, "Get on the bus, take her on a Sunday, let us sleep in." And I heard the Christmas story. I heard the story I had memorized Luke chapter 2 because that was what we did. And I realized something, that what I was really looking for was a greater gift at Christmas. That year, my parents had read something from the newspaper, and it was this poem: "Santa comes from the north, a land of ice and snow. Jesus Christ came to us 2,000 years ago. Santa with his toys and objects of fascination. Jesus gives us love, joy, peace, and promise of salvation. Santa with his suit of red is here but once a year. Jesus with his nail-pierced hands is always very near." So it was just a reminder that that's what I was really, really looking for, was God. Santa just, does some of the celebratory work. So yeah, I still believe in Santa. So, but there's much more evidence of Christ. I just want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was up in the North Pole a few years ago. No.
Coaching elf soccer, by the way, which we're going to have to talk about sometime.
Those boots must be something for elf soccer. I gotta say, those boots. Something.
Well, it's the exciting thing is having 1,000 elves on the ice all at once.
Whoa! Right there, you go. I'm sure you.
Is that
I've worked at Garrick's soccer camps in the past, and at the beginning they would have these staff versus kids soccer games where it was like probably the peak year we had like 250 kids.
Yep.
250 kids and probably 20, 25, mostly like 20 something other bigger kids, all on like 2 soccer fields at the same time playing this just complete chaos elf soccer. Because these kids are, nothing. So I have a perfect picture in my mind of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what's everyone doing for Christmas? I mean, we were talking about Garrick and Rich, and I have a line into the other guys. We were going to try to diverge on Brent, but Brent said we can't get up his driveway. So I wasn't sure if that was because of the snow or that he made a call to get the barricades up. I'm not sure.
Right. It's a sheet of ice.
Oh, wow.
And it's a steep hill. So 4-wheel drive and chains.
Right on. So that's why you weren't one of those people stocking up on toilet paper. You probably already have it because, man, getting out of there.
Well, we were going to spend this.
Actually, for a while it was like every time we went out, we'd get one thing of toilet paper just in case.
And Garrick, you've lived in Europe. Why don't we have bidets? What is wrong with America?
Well, true confession here. When we moved into our new house this year, I bought one for one of those
Yes.
toilet seat ones because I think
Those things, they wash, dry, and gift wrap you. It is so great. Perfect for the holidays.
There's our next year's Christmas suggestion.
Yeah, Garrick, you were going to do a little
Yeah.
international
yeah,
Christmasing.
we were planning to travel, and we made the decision kind of last minute that just given everything that's going on, that might not be the best time to travel. And so we because there's a lot of uncertainty in the rest of the world right now.
There is, and there's also a lot of strange uncertainty with the virus and different strains, actually in different countries. Which, welcome to the grand new world. But maybe we can opine for a moment about whatever is going on in the world, just like in any sport, whatever's going on in the game. There's always something greater happening. There's always something greater to reach for. Even if you have the agony of defeat, which Sounders fans, we all experienced this year, there's always something else to reach for. And that's kind of how I feel about 2020 and Christmas.
Well, I think one thing is with this year is a lot of the stuff that kind of surrounds Christmas we haven't been able to do. So I think it's an opportunity to focus on the truth of Christ's birth and what a great gift that is, regardless of anything else that's going on. Also, like I've got my family, my grandkids are in Minnesota, my parents are in Southern California, Kim's parents are in Florida, and we're here. And so, but we had a family in our church that's got a couple of young boys. They're like, why don't you come down? You've already had COVID. Why don't you come down and have Christmas with us Christmas morning? So the opportunity to love each other too, the people in our circle around
Amen.
us is also something that Christmas should be about. There's so many things that happen that just become busy, and a lot of that's gone. And
right,
I think it's an opportunity to think about how much of that we really needed, and how much is great we can come back to, and how much maybe is the distraction from what Christmas really is here for.
Yeah, it's almost that like it took something like this to slow us down and to get us out of the hustle and bustle, because there was nothing that was going to take America out of that Christmas hustle and bustle until boom, welcome 2020. But you guys have been a great gift to me throughout this year. You've been a support. You've given me advice. We've taken this leap from terrestrial radio to podcasting and all of the angst and uncertainty that goes with it. And yet I've had this brotherhood of guys here to pray for me and support me. And, I've done a lot of being needy this year. And so I just want to tell you guys, thanks for being there.
Well, I think
All right.
I speak for everyone here, Michelle, that we're glad that we're part of it, because looking at it from a spiritual perspective, obviously, we get to talk about two things that mesh very well, even though some people would disagree. Sports and faith teach a lot of very good life lessons, very good spiritual lessons. There are numerous scriptural references to sports and the Olympics in scripture. So it's a perfect vehicle to share the greatest message and the greatest victory on any field anywhere in history.
It's a deeper story.
The greatest victory in human history happened on a hill over 2,000 years ago.
I can't wait for the final celebration.
Oh my.
It's even better than the, Super Bowl or the MLS Cup parade, which granted, pretty cool. Can you imagine all right, we finally finished out the confines of this earth, and we are here for the final victory parade. I'm looking forward to that.
That may not involve Marshawn Lynch and a bottle of whiskey, but it'll be good.
Well,
we can pray lynches there.
the thing that's interesting about this whole setup, the way God is going to use that, God is going to make himself known at all the big events around the world. And he's used the Super Bowl, the World Series, the College World Series. I've been to most of those things, and God shows up, period, everywhere. Everywhere I have been, God has shown up to use himself to talk about people. Even at the Paralympics in 2004, when I went to Greece, I understood the history of the country, and they hadn't had that much exposure to people with disabilities. So it was a great thing to see. People would come up. This is interesting. People would come up to me and say, glad to see you, because they automatically thought I was one of the athletes. So then it would give me an opportunity to talk about why I was really there.
That's awesome.
And people would go, wow, I never thought about that.
I'm gonna
go ahead. Go ahead.
Just let me say real quick, we've got someone else joining the
Hey.
show.
Yeah.
All right.
The villain has arrived.
Just in time for Christmas.
He's like the Krampus of the sports world. Love it.
Michelle, you were going to say something about what Rich was.
Well, yeah, you had mentioned that people say sports and faith don't mix. People say science and faith don't mix. People say, health and faith don't mix. And, it seems to be the vision of the overarching podcast to show the God story in every day. But what is inspiring to me is that I get to see the God story in you guys every single week. We joke about Chris Brown, who just joined in, being our villain because he has a alternate point of view from us, a Seattle-centric sports fans. But man, Chris, you are such an inspiration, and the light of Jesus just shines in you, in the work that you do. And see right there, and even wearing the wrong hat, man, you're Merry Christmas, brother.
Why is it because my tassel thing is on the opposite side of yours?
I think it is.
Yeah.
What do
You know what?
What is that called?
There we go.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a pom-pom.
No, that's not a pom-pom. Okay?
It's the bobble.
No. Dudes
Bobble?
aren't walking around with a pom-pom in their head.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
Oh,
yeah. Okay. There we go.
The people who say that sports and faith don't mix, they were not a part of they never experienced what we've experienced. And what I experienced when I was, for 6 years, was a soccer playing missionary. And we literally utilized the sport of soccer as a platform to open doors to us all around the world. We went places where missionaries could not go because they would allow in a soccer team, but they wouldn't allow missionaries. And people heard the message of Jesus through the sport of soccer. And so 20 plus countries I've been to, and thousands upon thousands of people heard about Jesus because of sports. So when we get to heaven, we'll see people who will correct those who say that.
Chris, what are your Christmas plans?
Oh, starting tomorrow, getting together with fam. Tomorrow is my wife's side of the family, so we go down to Statesville, North Carolina, and we're gonna safely congregate and exchange gifts. And then so her side is more on the safe congregation side. My mom and siblings, they're more on the side of doing it like what we're doing right now. So we're gonna do a Zoom gathering for that side, and of course our main family gathering is Christmas morning, just us at the crib. So I'm enjoying all the aspects of it. Hey, Zoom will be fun. That'll be something we've never done, to be able to see somebody's face light up, because we're not supposed to open the gifts or anything beforehand. I haven't peeked either.
So you're gonna open. That's kind of fun though, although you don't get
Your
mom's home
nose is-
cooking.
Your nose is growing.
Gosh, yeah. That's
Your pom-pom's growing is what's happening.
I think it's a single palm.
It's just a pom. Yeah.
It's just a palm.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mom spelled backwards is mom.
Nom nom nom. And that's my favorite part of Christmas, the nom noms. Oh yeah. We have roast beast. That's the big thing. Roast beast. Got to have roast beast. Yes, and a Yule log. The round kind of a thing. Lots of Christmas cookies. But you know what? I'm a turkey girl, so I don't care if we have turkey, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a few times in between. It's like I have a tryptophan addiction. Seriously.
You and John Madden would get along very well.
I know, right? And then you guys watch sports during the holidays, right?
What do you think bowl games are for?
Right?
The ones we got left.
Do you have to be like me though and sneak off? Because I mean, my family, not all of my family has been sports people.
I was going to say,
So-
my family's not sports people at all. So it becomes a very isolation type thing if I were to watch sports. But I mean, look, when we were growing up, we'd have the Cowboys game would always be on kind of, I guess that's Thanksgiving. Not so much for Christmas, but yeah, because our family, my immediate family anyway, my kids, they're not big into watching sports. And so, but we do.
I don't mean to criticize your parenting or anything, but
I swore to myself when I had kids that I would not be that guy who, because I'm such a crazy soccer player, that I would force my kids to be soccer fans. And so,
I'm that guy. I was like, no, you're going to sit and you're going to watch. My daughter does not really care about sports at all, but she went to all the games and she'd bring books and coloring books. She wouldn't pay attention, but she had a great time and that was fine. I was happy. She was happy. That's great. But yeah, I was that parent where my dad, I told you guys, my dad raised me. Football is life and Jesus is life, not necessarily in that order. So, it's.
I must have been the exact opposite, Michelle. I was the guy that dragged his parents to every sporting event I could think of. And I think that was the catalyst for my dad getting season tickets to the Seahawks in 1976. So we could ultimately end up going to the very first Seahawk preseason game.
Oh, nice.
So that's why I know that the Seahawks are very close to me. And I think I've also shared this story on the show. If not before, I'll share it real quick here. The first Bible verse I ever read was an autographed Jim Zorn picture.
wow, that's cool.
So
that's really cool.
And the verse was
first. Let's see. Maybe Chris, you can help me out. This is
also that the one I can do all
this
things.
is-
Christ
this is
strengthens me.
This is also in our book. Help me out here, man. What?
Yeah, I would have to go get
That
the
book is Thunder
I can
Sports
get it. You want me
Network,
to-
available at all
I gotta go get
outlets.
the book.
Oh, if the verse talks about if I'm going to boast about anything, I'm going to boast about Christ.
right.
And I remember reading that because it's on Jim Zorn's autographed picture to me. So that picture still is somewhere here around in my apartment, in a safe place. So safe I can't even
Along
find
with
it.
Evil Knievel.
Yeah. Yes.
So safe, in fact, that you don't know where it is.
Don't know where it is right now, but I know I have it. I know I have
No,
it.
this is so precious.
I still have mine. My Jim Zorn autograph from the 70s. Yes. Absolutely.
That is so precious. How about you, Chris? Do you your kids, your family, are they sports people?
My kiddos are young as opposed to me. So, since they are elementary age, 9 and 6, and my son is 6. So I didn't start playing. I didn't pick up a football for real until 5th grade. So I really try to keep that in mind. And you know what? I can still remember watching football games as my dad sat there. I definitely remember one game watching with the Patriots. This was in 1978, I think, either 78 or 77. Is the Patriots playing in a snowstorm, and they got a safety. And I remember them saying, it's 2. Okay, so that'll be 2 points for safety. So me and my brother went outside, and when he started crying, I gave him 2 points for safety.
That's so cute.
I learned, from watching my dad. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Hats off, palm off to Garrett, because I want to do that too. I want to not be. I'm super overbearing as a fan. I want to just allow them to, just gracefully get into it. So my daughter, if she wants, it's either way. Yeah, if she wants, that's awesome. And my son, now I am going to train him up in the right way. I am going to do that. He does have a number. I didn't have any jerseys. I was like, 6th grade. He has like 4 personalized jerseys already. So,
but I'm not going to influence him or anything.
That's not training. Yeah. That's indoctrination.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you might want to pray on that one, brother.
And I can vouch for this. Not one of those jerseys is an NC State jersey. Am I right?
Thank
Chris?
you, sir. Thank you. Verifying and validating my Christianity.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, I got to ask: does the Carolina fight song still end like unofficially the way it used to, with that line about state in it?
Yes, and that was a problem for me for all those years, and I've literally never said it. I mean, it's go to blank state or go to blank Duke, but that's unofficial. That's unofficial for guys like me. Is rah rah rah
rah rah rah. Yeah, I remember seeing it in print, and then I went to Dean Smith's basketball camp. And they were singing it on the bus. I'm like, what is that last line? Oh,
I'm surprised Dean Smith didn't put a stop to that, man.
Yeah,
He's
really.
the only coach I ever saw get up during the game. The crowd was chanting something bad because they didn't like a call. You know what it is. He gets up from the bench, walks over to the crowd, and he's like, it was silent. I love it.
Don't you love that? Yeah, that's the way it should be. I love that. I love that kind of sportsmanship. I do. My mom was not a sports person. She did not understand sports at all. Her thought was, why don't you just give everyone their own ball and they don't have to fight over it? Yet this woman put me in an all boys league baseball on a team because it was women's rights kind of a thing. She needed to prove something, right? And, okay, so I played baseball. I loved football, I loved sports. So we lucked out that way, but boy, did I get teased. So being a woman reporting in sports and if I came under fire, that was nothing. I always remember that when I got teased, there was a big circle of boys around me teasing me and laughing at me because I was a girl. And this kid came up and said, we need you to get off the team. So I broke his nose. So from then on, I was in, I was just fine. I could play with the big boys. I realized that's how boys do things. You guys just punch at each other. Then you go, okay, now let's go play. Yeah. And so, for me, that was that. And so being a woman in the sports field, I figured if anyone gives me a bad time, I've always got that to fall back on. I might have to break a few noses, but no, luckily I haven't had to.
I think your mom had it right though, because I think the game that she was referring to was dodgeball. And and broken noses come out of that frequently.
Do they even play dodgeball in school anymore with it being snow? No way.
No way.
Yeah, but you're in a different part of the country, Chris. I bet they do it there. They don't do it up here. No way. That's like.
So when I was growing up, my mom was not a sports fan either. However, she started watching soccer because of me. She would go to our games, and then we had season tickets from the very beginning for the Sounders games. And now, today, in her mid 80s, she actually watches more soccer than I do. She'll be like, hey, did you see how the Timbers did? Or did you see how, Real Salt Lake in their game was? And I'm like, I haven't watched the game, Mom.
That is precious.
You're watching
so
Bundesliga now
precious.
too?
Yeah.
What was that?
Bundesliga.
Oh, yeah.
Mom watching Bundesliga. I think that is so precious. Yeah. I was a cheerleader, so my parents went to every game. My sister, who was struggling with cancer at the time, she went to every single game. Even if she had chemotherapy earlier in the day, she would come. She and her husband would come and go to every single game. It just meant so much to me. Our football team, well, Tom, who isn't with us today, Tom Fisher, he was on the football team, and so a good friend of mine. Even back then, we were pretty good friends. So those are some of my precious memories, and it always ran, right through Christmas time. So, all of the sports and the wrestling and so for me, sports and Christmas and family and friends, they go hand in hand, whether I force it on the next generation or not. That's part of who I am.
Yeah, I want to mention that I have taken my son to a couple seasons worth of games for the Tar Heels, and also, and that's all football, and also, cities tagged along as well, my daughter, and so we've had a good time. But when I got married, my wife was a Duke fan to start off with, before, when I met her, and so we had an official ceremony as part of our wedding rehearsal, where we officially kind of indoctrinated her into the Tar Heel family. My pastor was a Tar Heel, so we officially. I mean, you could actually say that was, kind of like, what do you call it when you cast out the devil, when you cast
exorcism.
Thank you.
Oh
That
my goodness!
You could say that because the blue devil had to go
out
out.
the blue devil. Yeah.
Thank you. You and me right here, man. You and me right here.
Christian Leitner will never be on this show, I guess.
Oh, you guys are awesome. I know I promised that we wouldn't take a long time today, but I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. I love you guys. You are everything that brothers should be. And I couldn't ask for anything better than to spend just a little bit of time with my brothers at Christmas time. Love you guys.
Love you guys too.
Thanks,
Yo.
Michelle.
And
This
Yeah.
is the best sports team on the earth.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
There you go, Rich.
Especially since Chris has his palm.
Palm.
Well, and as you pointed out many times before, this is a beautifully diverse team of people that we have gathered together as well, just in terms of ethnicities, backgrounds, disabilities. I mean, it's a neat representation of what the body of Christ looks like.
Amen. And a sports team. You get the best players on. It doesn't matter, right?
And if anything goes wrong, it's the guy in the chair's fault. Let's tell the audience. Let's be honest. It's the guy in the chair.
I think I could give you a run for that, buddy.
And I think we agreed that Chris was going to end us with a Christmas song and sing us a song, right? Wasn't that it?
Hey, if y'all are that brave, we can do it. Let's. It's the most wonderful time of the. My computer's out. My computer's sorted out. Hold on. What the?
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.